Hello and welcome to the Elixir for Beginners course. This particular module is all about Elixir files, and that is how and what you write Elixir code in and how you name it, and also how you will actually execute Elixir code. So as you can see, there's three main points here. Elixir consists of two file types, .ex files and .exs files. And files are also written in snake case, which I'll describe in a minute, and how to actually execute the Elixir code. So I will jump into the terminal and you can follow along and play around as well. Okay, thank you. Elixir has two types of files. The first type of files are files that end in the .ex extension, and they are compiled files. They compile down to bytecode. Essentially, this is Erlang bytecode, so it will run on the Erlang virtual machine or the Erlang beam. The other type of file is a .exs file, and that is essentially a script file, which will allow you to run it almost in an interpreted way. This is similar to how Ruby and Python run. So, for example, if we were to create a file, and I'm just going to create one through my terminal, and let's call it hello world.exs. We'll create one with as the sort of scripting version, the interpreted version. Now notice that when I've created this file, it's all lowercase and it's underscore. Generally that's the standard. You would name the files lowercase separated by underscores. This is known as snake case, and this is what Ruby and Python tend to use. I think it came from Python, hence the name snake. So if we were to create that file, this is what we can do with it. So I'm just going to open it in my editor, and we have a blank file. I can then add my Elixir code. So what we're going to do, and don't worry too much about what's going on, but essentially there is a module called IO, input output, and there is a method called puts. It's not a method, it's a function called puts, and we can give our hello world string on the end of that, and bingo, we have our first hello world program. Now that's all very well and good, but actually we want to see what this outputs. So Elixir has two ways of executing code. One is using the compiler, and essentially it's the Elixir binary, and the other one is using the Elixir interactive interpreter, or REPL. I'll go into that in a minute. The Elixir binary allows us to pass in a file name, hello world, and when I run that, it then outputs the string hello world, as you'd expect, and how Ruby and Python, they all work in a similar way. But how about this interactive interpreter? It's commonly known as a REPL, and that stands for the read, evaluate, print loop. And this allows us to add an experiment with Elixir codes. So Elixir's REPL is called IEX, and we can run Elixir code. So let's try our simple hello world example. Puts hello world. And when I run that, it is going to output our string, and it also returns this thing in blue, and that's an atom, an immutable string, and it's generally used as a status of what the function returns. So you can type all sorts of useful commands in here, and the next video is going to go into a bit more detail about what you can do with IEX. One of the things that's quite important to know is how to quit out of it once you're in it. Simply, if you hold the control key down, CTRL, and press C twice, that will exit out of it. That's the simplest way. There is another way which I'll go into in the next video. So to summarize, two types of files using the compiled file .ex extension, and the interpreted file type is the EXS extension. You create your file names with snake case, and you can also execute them with the Elixir binary and the Elixir interpreter. Okay, and the next video I'm going to go more into the Elixir interpreter.